Good afternoon. I realise I'm the one between you and lunch, so luckily I've got only a few slides and a simple story to tell. My name's Julian, I'm the Head of Regulatory at Vodafone Qatar, and it's been my privilege over the last year or so to work closely with a lot of people in this room on the QNBN project. And I just want to take you through Vodafone's perspective on that project and some of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. So for those of you who don't know us, Vodafone Qatar is owned by Vodafone and the Qatar Foundation, who own together 45% of Vodafone Qatar. The rest is listed on the Doha Exchange. We got a mobile licence in Qatar in June 2008, the first competitor to QTEL, and we got a fixed licence in April 2010. We have, as of a couple of days ago, 757,000 mobile customers. Hopefully we've got a few more now, and that's about 27% of the market share by connection. A little bit about Vodafone's experience in fixed in the rest of the world. Most people think of us as a mobile operator only, but we're in fact the 5th largest provider of broadband in Europe. We've got 5.4 million customers across 9 countries there. We also have fixed businesses outside Europe in Turkey, Egypt, New Zealand, Ghana and Qatar. We only have a few customers here, but we're working on it. And we're working on a number of fibre initiatives around the world. So we're working in Italy, we're working obviously here in Qatar, we're working in Portugal, New Zealand, and taking a close interest in what's going on in Australia as well. So fibre initiatives is something that Vodafone as a global organisation is very interested in. Part of the reason for that is that Vodafone's view is that copper access regulation has not worked, hasn't created sustainable competition. So this slide shows the free cash flows from different areas of the industry in European markets. You can't see at the bottom there, but these are UK, Ireland, Italy. They're EU markets. Now these are markets where there's very strong regulation, there's cost-based regulation, access to copper, and it shows that the light blue colours at the top, I'm not going to walk back to the back of the stage, this is the free cash flow generated by alternative fixed line operators. The blue at the bottom is the free cash flow generated by incumbent fixed network operators, and the mobile networks are in the middle. So the lesson from this is that after all these years of rigorous regulation of access to copper, the incumbent operators are really the only ones making money. And we see that as a failure of sustainable competition on copper. Now the beauty of the timing of the QNBN here is that we actually haven't been through the phase of copper access regulation. And so we get an opportunity to actually leapfrog an entire generation of regulation which hasn't really worked in other markets. So personally, great news, because I don't have to spend 2 years arguing about local loop unbundling down at the regulator. And for Qatar, a great opportunity to go straight to a first best solution for fast broadband access. The debate in fixed line regulation is what network architecture drives the best outcomes for consumers and for operators. And there is a tension between the lowest cost, GPON with a lot of splitters, keeping your costs down low, to a fully future-proofed point-to-point model. Now we've commissioned research with WIC Consulting that did a lot of modelling behind this to see what the welfare effects were of point-to-point versus GPON and different types of models. And the answer was very clear, that networks that can be unbundled are superior to bitstream-only GPON in terms of consumer surplus and total welfare. So that's welfare including operators. So point-to-point fibre and GPON over point-to-point showed the greatest levels of consumer surplus and total welfare. And the beauty of the QNBN design here is that it allows for both. I really only put this picture in to keep the engineers happy and to make the slides look a bit more technical. This is some of the initial discussion of the design of what the QNBN model might look like. So you're talking about enough fibre in the ground and adaptability so that point-to-point can be used where it makes sense, but GPON can be used as well where it makes more economic sense to do that too. So it's very much a future-proof design and a flexible design. And the beauty of it again is the timing for Qatar. So there's currently a very limited, some here from QTEL might disagree, that there's currently a very limited fibre to the home rollout in Qatar. So the QNBN project means that the vast majority of the fibre deployed here can be of an open architecture, and that any legacy fibre that's not up to that standard can be upgraded or overbuilt, and because there's not so much there, it's not a huge deal. It also means that a standardised approach will benefit all the providers, because you have a standardised approach, it minimises your costs, and it can give certainty to developers. So Qatar is quite a unique market in that there are a number of huge mega developers coming on stream over the next few years. Most of you will have been to the Pearl, there's Lusail, there's the Heart of Doha, and all of these people want certainty about what the fibre looks like in there and how their tenants and customers are going to be best served. So the standardised approach of QNBN provides a great way to provide certainty to them. The QNBN also ensures a level playing field. That's because it's a separate entity, it's government owned, and any access seekers get access on an equivalent basis. That supports competition, because we're on a level playing field, and that drives better outcomes for consumers. The other great thing is that this is a really bold step towards the 2030 vision. ICT Qatar has a 2015 vision to actively leverage ICT to support the realisation of Qatar's national development goals and position Qatar as a leading knowledge economy by 2015. But that really is just a subset of the 2030 vision for Qatar, which is about being a knowledge-based economy. It's about diversification away from just oil and gas. It's a world-class infrastructure backbone, and it will allow the efficient delivery of public services. A lot of work has been done over the last year or 18 months, and when I talk to my colleagues in other markets, they're constantly surprised about how the QNBN project has gone from inception to something solid, a company formed, work underway in such a short time. And it really is incredible how much work has been done and how much progress has been made. But there is a lot of work still to do, which is good for those of us here because it'll give us something to do for the next couple of years. The first part is around the QNBN design as a company. So there's, the question for us is, what does the governance look like? What are the medium and long-term ownership options? Our view, as Ahmed said, 100% owned by the government now, with an option for operators to be involved. We think it's a good idea to have operators involved as investors in the company. We think it puts the incentives in the right place to all be in together, get the pricing right. There are a number of regulatory issues that will have to be resolved. One is around having reference offers that make sense and provide good access to the infrastructure, and about making sure that wherever QNBN is renting infrastructure from QTEL or anyone else, that those offers are back-to-back with the provisions in those agreements. That's a bit of work to do, something to keep us busy over summer. Copper switch off. The whole project and the penetration targets rely on the fact that there will be copper switch off at some stage. From our point of view, we would like to know how and when that will happen and what the process will be for that. The other issue, regulatory issue for us, is preventing the over-recovery of costs from the incumbent. So where the QNBN has to rent infrastructure from QTEL, we want to make sure that they're not overpaying for that infrastructure, because that affects the degree to which we're competing on a level playing field. And the wider challenges is around the ecosystem. So one of just the more practical elements of planning and rollout issues. We're some way towards resolving those, but there's probably more work to do. The other is the policy framework to drive uptake. We've seen that there's a lot of thinking being done already around that stuff. Again, there'll be more work that I see Qatar will do with other government agencies as well. And the other issue is international bandwidth. Of course, as you build a faster access network and you're talking to the rest of the world at high capacity, you need more international bandwidth, and you need it to be cheaper so that those lower prices can be passed on to consumers. And those are some of the challenges that we have. None of them are insurmountable, and I think it's an exciting time for fixed broadband in Qatar. Thank you.